Hello, hello, hello. I'm Andrea Stevens.
And I'm Jeanette Mejias, and we are Web's Women.
Where exposure brings strength. Here
Hey,
we
hey.
are.
Yes. Hey, hey, hey.
What's happening?
You heard what's happening, girl. What's going on?
Well, nothing. I mean, I ventured out today. That's
Oh,
a plus.
that's huge. Where did you
It's
venture
impressive,
to?
right? It's impressive. I left the house.
You did. That is impressive. We're getting there. We're
I
getting
still
through
haven't been
this
to a
COVID.
store, right? I still haven't been to a store though. I haven't been in a store since March 12th. And I thought it's not even a month away. So maybe I can get away with not going into a store
For a
and see if
year.
I can do it. Right. Because look, think about it.
You
I
might as
haven't been
well.
to,
It's coming
I mean,
soon.
right. And I haven't been to a Marshall's. I mean, like
Oh my
that's,
God.
I'm having withdrawals. Like this has been a year, like good 10 months in, I started having the withdrawals. But today I ventured out and I had my Clorox wipes and I had my mask.
Okay,
But
there you go.
but I
There you
ventured
go,
out and
girl.
I mean, I did it. So that's good. But yeah, I went to visit Ruth, Ruth Parmesan. I went to
Yeah.
Karma Bridge Acupuncture, little plug right there for you, Ruth.
Nice.
Yeah, I went to visit Ruth. And yeah, I mean, I didn't have a treatment. When I went to visit her and bring her some CBD products and some samples. But I have gone to her numerous times for sinus infections.
Yeah, I definitely want to explore that. I I've always wondered about. I've always been curious about acupuncture. I heard good things about it.
Mhm.
So as soon as this weather clears up, because I know we're up against another beautiful snowstorm hitting us in the next.
Joy.
I know this weekend. So I'll let you know so we can meet up there.
Yeah, she's super close. So when you come out here for
I want
sure.
needles all in my forehead, my
Yeah.
face.
Hear that, Ruth? Sticker.
I'm coming for you, Ruth. I'm coming for you, girl.
He's coming.
I'm gonna message you.
I don't know if that's a warning or
coming for you.
I'm coming for you.
Yes. Yeah, I'm looking forward to
Yeah.
it. Because you know
Yeah,
me, I'm
she's
still
good. I
suffering
mean,
from headaches and stuff from the
yeah.
aftermath of COVID. And I just kind of want
Yeah.
to do something to speed up the process of getting the junk, lingering junk. They call
Mhm.
those who've been exposed to COVID, I'm now post 6 weeks, they call us the long haulers or something like that.
Oh.
And that's folks who've been exposed to COVID, however, have the lingering effects. And
Oh,
my
I didn't know
biggest,
there was a name for you
oh yeah,
now.
girl.
I mean, I had
Yes.
that happen back in March and I was
Yep.
sick for months. Dizziness, nausea, tremors, internal tremors.
Oof.
I had all kinds of stuff happen. Oh yeah, my nerves, my legs. I couldn't, my legs, the nerves in my leg. I had so many things, but I didn't realize I was a long hauler at the time. I feel better
Yeah.
now,
Yeah,
but
there's actually a name to that.
mm,
And I actually just went to my doctor's for a follow-up visit. I had to do a bunch of had to do blood work,
mhm,
and I had said that I'm really struggling. I have a lot of brain fog, like to
mm,
focus. Not even so much to like the focusing is an issue, but just to even read an email is an issue for me. To even
yeah,
respond to an email, it takes me like forever to formulate the thoughts, what I'm
mm,
expressing, where typically it's a quick click, 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 send. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And she was like, oh, well, I can give you a stimulant if you want for your focus. Have you ever had ADD when you were younger? I'm like,
What?
what? I was like, I'm sorry, what?
Let's just throw out an acronym and give you a drug.
I'm like,
Oh,
yeah, no.
jeez.
So she's like, oh, well,
Did you ask her and say, you do remember I had COVID?
Well, I told her, I
Like,
said, my focus issues right now is because of the impact I have with COVID.
what did she say when you said
And
that?
she says, oh, I know, but you're saying you're having such a hard time focusing. Maybe the stimulant could help. And I'm like, I'm
Oh
not taking a
my,
stimulant.
what is going on?
Yeah, and I said, no, I take CBD oils every day. So
Mm,
anyhow,
well,
so I had to tell you
I
that
don't even
because
know.
I know how you are with
Yeah.
with that type of language that occurs in the medical
Yeah.
practices. They're just so quick to give you like that quick fix, like
Yeah. Whatever
you
drug we
know,
can give you. Yeah. Whatever we
yeah.
can give you, and that's, yeah. So when I was in Ohio, I moved to Ohio from California, and my son was 2 going on 3. And uh and I went to this doctor for the first time, and of course they ask you 20 million questions. And she's like, well, you probably had some postpartum that you never addressed, and you have to be for sure, you have anxiety. Nobody in their right mind could drive across the country themselves with their dogs and their child without their husband and not have anxiety. And you did this big move across the country, and I was like, I'm not like, I don't have anxiety. Like, yeah, I'm a little like, geez, like I just got to relax a little bit because I got to stop unpacking my house. But I don't, slow down is what I really needed, not I'll give
Yeah.
you a drug. And immediately it was where I'm going to give you this anti-anxiety medication. And it's going to be something you have to take every day at the same time. And when you're done, we'll just have to wean you off. Don't stop it, but we'll have to wean you off. And I was like, I'm not taking that crap. I'll prescribe you Xanax so that you can just take it whenever you want. I mean, she was so hard on the push that
Well,
I said,
damn. What's the
fine.
name of that doctor? No, I'm
I
just kidding.
right. I said, fine, whatever. Prescribe me the Xanax, fine, whatever. Do you know that I still have? It was, what year was that? 2014.
Oh my God.
2014. You know that medication is still sitting. I mean, it's
Wow.
garbage,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it's, you know what I mean? But like, it's definitely doesn't work anymore. Like,
Mm.
but my point is you pushed and pushed to the point where I finally just said prescribe it because I was tired of listening to you. And
Yeah,
I think it's just,
I
you
don't
know,
know. I don't think that's in the medical field's language in terms of holistic approaches. It's really
well,
all
it's not.
about
Yeah.
the pap the drug and the story.
Yeah.
And I think if
I was disappointing. It was so disappointing.
I was shocked that I have to say, I was shocked that my doctor said
Well,
that to
yeah,
me.
nobody, how
I was like,
you're,
what?
I mean, like
I mean,
after 5 decades,
I
you have
actually
ADD.
thought, yeah, I'm like saying to myself, am I dreaming this shit? Did this just happen? Am I in a dream? And I'm gonna wake up and say I had a really weird dream because it was bizarre. I was like, what the hell is she talking about?
Well, now you come home and you're like, do I have ADD? Have I had ADD? Like, you know
I
what I mean?
can't.
Let me look, let me see, like, okay,
Everything
do
is
I
a
have this or do I have
label.
this?
Everything's a
Yeah.
label. Label, label,
Uh,
label.
Yeah. I remember the doctor one time. Did I tell you the story that I remember the doctor one time asking my son if he like, well, do you feel like worried? She started to ask him like at the end of she said he was fine. Everything looked good. His physical was great. And then all of a sudden, he gets off the table, puts his shoes on, and she says, well, how do you feel? Do you feel worried ever? Or do you feel, I looked at him, I go, Blake, go out and play out there go out, play in the play area. And he left, and I looked at her and I was like, you are not going to throw some acronym at my kid. I was like, he's fine.
Mm, 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 mm.
And she just like looked at me with her eyes big. And I thought, we aren't going there. First of all, you didn't say anything when he was on the table, but when he's done, you thought of what can I talk about? What can I say? And
Yeah,
that's where I was like, okay, if you
yeah,
didn't see anxiety when he was on the table and he puts his shoes on and ready to walk out the door, and that's when you ask him if he's worried. So yeah,
exactly,
I was like, get out of here, whatever.
exactly.
And I
That's
know I can
scary.
be, yeah, and I can be, I mean, she didn't question me because I was so hard with how I spoke, but you never know.
Yeah.
You never know you never know what I'm going to say when I'm in there with the doctor.
So I'm wondering, like,
Would you tell her in the end?
I just said to her, no, I'm not interested in taking the stimulant. Um, I'm taking CBD. And she actually was like, oh, that's great. I was like, taking CBD
Oh,
oils. I take a supplement. I take various things. And I'm just going to ride it out. And so she said, okay.
hmm.
That was really it.
Oh,
She
then
kind
she
of,
wasn't opposed. Yeah, then she
I
wasn't
know
like a
she
push.
wasn't
She
opposed to it.
wasn't
I
a
just,
drug push. She
no,
wasn't a drug pusher
but I was just shocked that she mentioned that. I was like, what? And
yeah.
she even asked, like, have you, it was just so odd because, wait, like, just fall off the chair. She was like, did you ever have ADD? Do you have ADD? And I'm like, what? I'm like, no. She's like, when you were a child, how did you do in school?
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, um, I did all right. I wasn't an A student, but I certainly wasn't an F student. I'm like, where are we going with this conversation? You know? I'm like, what? I was like I don't know, a BC student. Like, why are you
Maybe
asking me
she
this
was
stuff?
testing your mind. Maybe that was a test of your mind. What do you
Maybe,
remember when you were 10?
maybe. I don't
Maybe.
know. I was just weird. So
Yeah.
anyhow, I don't know. I just thought it was really weird. But then again, what isn't weird nowadays? I feel like, why am I
Yeah.
even surprised? So
Yeah. Yeah. There's yeah, there's definitely, you know what? I feel like and there are some great doctors out there that will work and are willing to work with a naturopath that you may see. And I'll tell you, out here, I had a great lady that I went to see, an internal medicine doctor. She was my main doctor. But when I told her that I was seeing a naturopath, and she said, that's great. She's like, I think that's a great thing that you try holistically to see what you can do. And we'll talk through it. And when she said that to me, she was the first
wow.
doctor in my 46 years that has ever said to me that they're willing to work with someone else. Now, I went to see some other jackass, and I'm going to tell you, he is a jackass. Okay, when I first moved here. And he said to me when I brought up, well, I go to see this naturopath, for my acupuncture. He said to me, don't ever bring up that word to me again. I don't want to ever hear it again.
Oh,
That's what he said to me. That's the last
that's
time I saw that
weird.
mother. Oh, yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
He was a jackass. I mean, he even called me on Christmas because I was having a gallbladder attack. It was, well, I thought it was a gallbladder attack, but it ended up being in the end pancreatitis. But he told me I had diverticulitis.
Oh my
And
God.
yeah, so that's what he told me I had, diverticulitis. Then he gave me a drug, of course, that I got sick on as soon as I went home. And then he called me the next day. I stopped taking the medicine right away. And he called me the next day on Christmas. He goes, what other doctor calls you on Christmas? I was like, apparently you. But I was like, and that's when he was like, that's when he said something about, I told him I had an herbal med that I'm going to take and see because the other one made me sick. And he was like, I don't want to hear it again. I don't want to ever hear that again. I don't want to hear the word naturopath. I don't want to hear the word holistic. That's what he said to me.
This sounds like a
That was the last time I saw him. I was like,
whack
you know what?
job.
Merry effing
Yeah.
Christmas because you're out, bro. Sorry.
Oh my
Bye.
gosh.
See
That's
you
crazy.
later. Yeah. He was a
That's
jerk. Yeah. And I tell everybody because there's so many people that are like, I really like him. I was like, he's 105 and he won't even let you speak. You know what
right.
I
He's
mean? Like
very old school.
I didn't expect his reaction. And I don't know why you had to act that way with me. You know what I mean? He could have just said that, I don't work on the holistic side of things or whatever he had to say. It just was inappropriate the way he acted. So anyway, I get so flustered
I
with
know
doctors.
you get fired up. But you know what?
I do. I
It's just
do.
important. I think the message today for our listeners should be just really get to your physicals. Self care is really so important. It's not about, you know, the bubble baths, and I mean, that's always nice.
Well,
And
hey, I don't know about, don't shut those down.
no, 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 those are all good. I'm just saying, sometimes people think self-care is just like
Relaxing.
relaxing, and that's a wonderful
Glass of
thing to
wine.
do,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
But right now, given how everything is heightened in this world, stress is a huge factor, anxiety, everybody, I even myself have felt
Yeah. Oh yeah.
anxiousness just
Yeah.
in everything. Like I will I just have to tune things out. But
Hmm.
I've never visited the doctor um, diligently until all of this.
Hmm.
So just
I
really
think too,
important.
doctors are needed. They are needed. Holistic practitioners are
Yep,
needed. They're all needed. One isn't better than the other. That's the message.
absolutely. As long as
But
you're
if
getting
you find a doctor that's a drug pusher, they are not
well,
needed in your world. You got to get rid of those people.
yeah.
Um,
And I would
unless you
love
want to
it.
take, unless you want to take all these medications,
Yeah. And I would
but then pay attention to your liver. That's my tip for the night. Pay attention to your liver.
yes, and I think maybe in the future, Andrea, maybe you could talk a little bit about, you know, CBD and CBG and CBD oils and the benefits. I think that's a great thing to,
Yeah.
share. I know.
Yeah. I mean, at some point, yeah, we can talk about it at some point. I mean,
Yeah,
the main thing is that there's two different plants that people need to understand, that there's two different plants, that these holistic approaches they come from two different places, for people to understand what it is before they understand what they're taking. That does not happen in the pharma industry. It
right.
doesn't. It's just take this, and this is how it's going to fix your ailment. It doesn't.
Well,
It
listen,
doesn't really dive into your system and your body and what some
I'll give
holistic things can
you
do for you.
I'll give you a perfect example. So all our listeners know, or if you don't know, my mom has very degenerative, a very progressive dementia. And she was suffering from some really severe hallucinations, and she thought people were going to harm her, things like that, and wouldn't sleep. So the long and short of it, she was on a lot of medication, a lot of antipsychotics,
Mhm.
heavy dosages.
Mm.
Did I see a difference? Not really. I mean, there was a reduction in hallucinations, but everything else really wasn't doing anything.
Mhm.
And the long and short of it, she got, I wouldn't even say weaned off these antipsychotics. She went cold turkey because when she finally finished and I went to put them to refill,
Mhm.
um, the doctor refused. So when I had asked, why aren't these refilled? They said the doctor won't refill them. Now, the reason the doctor didn't refill them was because I didn't keep an appointment. And actually, it was a
Oh.
blessing in disguise. But at this point, my mom was already not putting the meds in her body for a couple of weeks. But let me tell you what
Mhm.
was occurring to her when that was happening. She was soiling on herself everywhere, couldn't control her bowels. And the
Mm.
minute she weaned off that, it all went away. So this is an
See?
example of they were just sticking all kinds of whatever
Mhm.
psychosis medicine
Mhm.
that they
Mhm.
figure will do whatever, will
Yep.
fix one thing, but it started really attacking, I guess, other parts of her body. And I guess she
Sure.
wasn't feeling the sensation or know when she had an urge, because we all know when we have to use the restroom, you feel that urge. She
Yeah.
wasn't feeling that clearly. And
Mhm.
when that happened, I when she was off all those antipsychotics, I said, I don't believe this.
Mhm.
She's it's like
Isn't that something?
a different person.
Yeah.
I just was like, OMG.
Yeah.
So
That's how, and I think older people that they're taken advantage of with the whole take this, take this,
yes,
take this, take this.
absolutely.
My mother-in-law was the same thing. We went to Iowa. She was diagnosed with ALS. Well, I said, well, let me see, as soon as we went to the doctor, I said, well, where's the prescription list? And I looked at this, I said, holy shit, she's taking all of this. And I said to my husband, you better make sure, see what this is. Like, this is insane. Like, this list
Yeah,
is insane. I don't know
that's
what is going on.
that's
So
too
he went, he
much.
went and he asked the doctor, like, what is all this? Why this? Why this?
What is it
And
for? What does each thing do? Like
yeah.
that's right.
Well,
Yeah.
I started looking at some of them and they were not good with each other. They weren't a good mix to take with each other. I started Googling, right? So here I am Googling
Yeah.
and I started freaking out. Well, good thing the two one that I looked at, they weren't really, she wasn't taking both together. They stopped the one and gave the other because I was like, she can't take these together. Like, this is like toxic. Like, this is a problem, So,
Yeah.
in the end, it wasn't crossed off of her list, thank God. But still, she was still taking a shitload. I mean, it was ridiculous. And I feel like I just feel like, we gotta watch. I hope my son watches what they're giving me when I'm older.
Yeah, you really do. You don't know.
Make sure nobody's giving me a long list of stuff. And I'm just like, yeah, hey, whatever.
Yeah, it's scary. I mean, even with me being on certain medications, getting through COVID myself, I was reading, you know, why am I on so many things? What is this for? I mean, because
Mhm.
it was just really more just to make sure there wasn't like fluid in my lungs and stuff like that. But anyhow, thankfully I got
Yeah.
through it. But I was a little nervous, I'm not gonna lie, because
Yeah.
you don't know how your body's gonna react to it.
Yeah.
But I was still taking the oils. I really am a firm believer in the CBD. It's been helpful. I mean, I think my recovery is taking much longer than most.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
because I was pretty impacted. I mean, and
Yeah.
everybody reacts to it different too. So I'm just learning to give myself grace and just being very conscientious of what I put in
Mm.
my body.
Yeah.
Um, and
You'll get there.
the oils are helping.
Well,
So
you're taking
yeah,
your the CBG is, this really, it's for your ADD.
yes.
No,
Clearly, it's not
that's a joke.
helping.
No, that's a joke. That was a joke. Oh gosh.
It's not helping.
I couldn't resist.
Oh my God, I can't. I can't.
Uh,
That's like the joke of the year.
yeah.
Sorry,
Well, I mean,
something.
it's
You know,
common. The worst part about it is it's common,
it
and so
is
that's
common. It is
so the
common.
message really is, do not let anybody talk you into having something, taking something until you research.
Yes,
And anybody that you are looking after, research,
absolutely.
you know,
Absolutely.
and any doctor that you come across that says they'll work with your holistic person, and that's great that you see both, is the way to go. Because if they are on board with, walking you through what's best for you, that's what if your doctor is okay and has no, like, well, they don't yell at you and say, don't say those words. If you have a good doctor that doesn't say that, then really in
Right.
the end, it's for your best self, and they are
Yes.
looking out for you and what you want with your body. And
Hmm.
that is really important. What you want with your body and how you want to, your body better than everybody, better than the doctor. In
Absolutely.
the end, you do. So if they can support you with what you want to do with your body and they're there for support, regardless if you go see a naturopath or them, then they're for you. They're not for big pharma. They're for you. And that's key. And that's the takeaway.
That's excellent. And that's the best way to close out our podcast. I want to thank all our listeners for your support and stay tuned for what we have next week.
Yeah,
Remember,
and I'm not a doctor. Let me just make sure that we say this. Like, I'm
oh,
not a
you're not a doctor?
doctor.
You're
So
not a doctor?
so anything I say is not, health. I'm not giving any advice on health or your ADD
Yes.
that you don't have.
We will put that disclaimer in our description
Yeah,
of the
yeah. Like, this is
podcast.
not like I'm giving advice on health.
Yes, no, that's very important to
But I
state.
am giving you advice on who to talk to.
Just do
And,
your
and I
homework.
can do that.
Do your homework.
Do
That's
your
it.
homework.
That's it.
Yes.
All right. Well, it was good hanging out with you, Andrea. Thanks for
You too,
listening,
as
everybody.
always.
And I'll see you
Yes.
next week.
We'll
Remember,
see you next
everybody,
week.
we're Web's women.
Where? Exposure brings strength.